Hello, Mark Dietel here, and I have a very interesting question for you today. And it is, how does the failure of Silicon Valley Bank impact your real estate decision today? Well, obviously, if you've been watching the news, even if you haven't been watching it or just listening to it in any of the mediums, you've been hearing about what's going on in the banking business, particularly SVB, which is actually Silicon Valley Bank, and its failure and what happened over the weekend. So I'm getting asked, Mark, how does this impact, or is it going to impact my real estate decision going forward? And that doesn't matter whether you're a buyer or you're a seller. Everybody seems to be asking that question at this particular time. So I'm just going to talk about it on a very high level. I will say, if you want to dig into the details, a great person to look up is a gentleman named Barry Habib, and it's called MBS Highway. And you can also look for a video or his explanation about it on YouTube. Some really good, interesting information if you want to dig into the details. But overall, right now, what has happened is the FDIC, the federally insured company that we have that oversees banks and protects our deposit, has currently stepped in, and they've made a commitment to actually protect all insured depositors and all uninsured depositors. Now, what does that mean? 93% of all the depositors at SVB Bank had $250,000 or less on deposit. So 93% of them got that cleared. Well, there was another 7% that the feds were concerned about, and they had deposits over $250,000, and they're going to be protected as well. So that's, if you hear any type of a bailout, and it depends on how you define bailout, that is one of the things that's happened, and most people in the industry say that's really good. What we were starting to see yesterday was an adjustment possibly in interest rates based on what the Fed might be doing coming up here in March 22nd. But really what's happened is everything's really stabilized. Since the FDIC stepped in, they're protecting depositors. That's good. There's some stabilization. You've probably heard of a couple of other banks, maybe one very heavily invested in commercial real estate. I think another bank very heavily invested in crypto has some issues. But the word on the street, if you want to use that terminology, is right now we're not faced with any big run on our banks, and depositors are still protected. Now, still, the big question is going to be how is the Fed going to be looking at these events come the March 22nd Fed meeting, when they're going to decide, are they going to adjust the rate or increase prime again? Generally speaking, everybody thinks they're going to continue on their pace and increase it 0.25%. So that's going to continue to put pressure on mortgages and mortgage interest rates, because again, what the Fed is trying to do is control inflation. So as long as they know they still have to control inflation and try to get it reduced, they're going to continue to push that prime. Now, can you say Silicon Valley Bank maybe is a little bit of a product of the aggressive approach that the Fed has taken in increasing the prime over the last year? Well, you'll find plenty of subject matter on that online. A lot of people are saying yes, but really in reality, you have a lot of other people, financial, smart people, saying the Fed has to continue to protect the economy against inflation. So we are still hopeful that inflation has been in check, that the Fed's going to see it. They're going to start to moderate their increases. I'm hearing some continued increases maybe over the next 3 or 4 months, but still we are hopeful that rates will begin to come down when you're looking to buy a home later in this year. So even if you need to buy now, it's still a great time. The opportunity to refi a year and a half from now, when rates are expected to come down even further, is still a great option. So we are continuing to encourage our buyers that now is a good time to buy. And obviously, when you're in a seller situation, life happens. You still have to put your home on the market, and the values are still strong. So there you have it. That's kind of an overview. Right now, we're still pushing forward. Interest rates are still about the same where they have been, but pay attention to what's going to happen here on March 22nd. That's really going to tell us more about what's going to happen to the interest rates. And in the end, that's what's really going to impact our values and the buyer activity and the seller activity. And as always, thank you very much. If you want to give us a call, check us out online, send us an email, whatever it might be, and anybody here at Mark Dietel Realty would be happy to help you.